And we'll just figure out a middle school plan. That's depressing, I have to admit, but we can't pretend it's not the case. You go ahead if you need to get your mic. No, no problem, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My name is Dr. Bola Montosho, Community Board 5 Chair. Well, I would like to say enough is enough of mothers burying their kids. Just last week, we had a shooting of a 21-year-old right here on Walton Avenue. And not too long ago, we had a shooting right at the doorstep of Councilman's office.
Right across the street.
Right across the street. Right across the street. Right here. What is more critical at this time? It's we've had a couple of peace initiatives, rallies, neighborhood organizations setting up, coming up. For example, we have Mariam Neighborhood and Association, several ones picking up. But we need the entire city to come up with, even if it's an advertised program, that there is no safe haven for gang initiatives or any gangs in the entire city. If this is being repeated over the year, times 2, 3, even several times in a day, people will have, at least community folks will have the confidence of saying, well, not in my neighborhood. There will be no safe haven for all these gang folks. There are several wannabes, which I'm glad you mentioned it. I mean, when we had the gang incident at the school, just this last summer, PAL invested some money right by River Park Tower through the DA's office. We have several initiatives out there. Are they working? Some are not up to par.
What makes ones that work? You know what I mean?
Communication.
With the community.
With the community. Communication with the community makes the ones that works very well. People know that yes, it's available, they have access to it, and they are willing to get some help. Some of these kids who are out there doing all this initiation, quote unquote, or wannabes, it's not exactly true that they don't have somewhere to go. They have options. But they choose to do something else because they are being influenced by those who are not exactly good role models for them. But if we have a great communication being blasted over the here on all the channels, New York City cannot be taken over by gangs. We are doing more with less, especially with the officers. The statistics states that this time last year, now we're more than 11% increase in murder rates, and it's still going up. And with the economy, do we expect things to get better? Well,
not soon enough.
So,
that's right.
But we can do with advertisement. Serious advertisement that makes everybody to be aware. Unfortunately, some group looks at it, which is some of the work study which we had. They look at this as if, well, it would be bring a negative light into the city, but I don't think so. It creates awareness, and I'll end with this. If we address this issue like terrorism, which is something that came up in my community, that if we address it head on, as if this is a terrorist act that is holding a community under siege, then we'll be able to find a solution to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
If I may quickly, I just, I do have another meeting, but I just want to say real quick, my name is Walter Bell, and I'm very honored to be a part of the community board. And,
which board, sir?
District 7. District 7 under Mr. Paul Forster, Fernando Torreira. Gangs, it has to be re-educated. All have to be re-educated. The way that it's looked at and the way that they are looking at themselves has to be changed. It has to be redefined. Gangsters, if we choose to call them that, okay, against narcotics and guns, GANGS. It's very simple, okay, but highly effective, because you change the way that the person now looks at themselves and now looks at what they're supposed to be representing. I predominantly am the youngest one sitting here, 42. There's no gang member here to say, you know, that's not what we stand for, that's not what we about. I'm sorry to the community, I'm sorry that this happened. I respectfully apologize. My Soka organization is not supposed to be doing things like that. They should be here. They're supposed to be here.
But they won't.
If predominantly they are responsible, as they've been identified, for committing the crime, then they're supposed to be responsible for the accountability also. Not only in us catching them, law enforcement, not only in re-education, but you're also supposed to be teaching those who are supposed to be coming after you the right thing to do. Those gentlemen who were massacrically, they violently harmed that 4-year-old for no reason. They should have been there securing him, making sure he went home safe with his child. They should have been there making sure everybody else got home safe. These are things we used to do. This is good Samaritanship. This is very honorable. This is very admirable. This is what would get you initiated to a higher level in life, into society, not hurting somebody and trying to rob them for a coat.
How do you do that?
We must bring them into our meetings. They must become a part of what we're talking about and doing.
But how do you do that? I mean, it also like, how do you do that?
Middle school, junior high school, the levels of education where they're at, where we know that we have a targeted audience, and speak to them in those circles. In the religious circles, not only in the archdiocese, but in the mosque, but in the synagogue, but in the chapel. And I want to just definitely thank this gentleman for coming, because I was working with the Boys and Girls Club, and they have something very unique that a lot of organizations don't have, and that's a YEP. That's a Youth Empowerment Program. And they also would like to be speaking up, because a lot of youth don't like what happened. They don't like what's been happening, and it is unacceptable to them too. And more youth need to be hearing that coming from other youth, as opposed to maybe coming from a gentleman who's a little older than like myself, like, oh, I don't want to hear that, Pops, you know, you washed up, or you over the hill.
Youth to youth conversation.
For sure,
need to be
for
part
sure.
Of the response.
And it can probably be settled in a much better fashion.
Great.
And I just borrowed that from a concept of milk, that we all go to a store, it's very healthy, but we wouldn't drink nothing outdated.
Right.
So we got to go get new milk to keep us healthy. So we got to get the youth here.
Great.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you, Paul.
Good luck at your next meeting. Thank you.
Over the Bronx left.
If I may say, I grew up in the Bronx, Fox Street, Longwood Avenue, Kelly Street, Junior High School 52, Thomas Knowlton, and Dearwood Clinton High School is over here. I think our youth here, some of our youth in our district are hurting very much, because we want to make sure that we don't paint everybody in this district who are doing violent things. The bulk of our youth are doing the right thing, are going to school, are looking forward to go to college, are looking forward to prepare themselves for the future and all that. So that's why when something like this happens, it really causes us to really act up, because this is not the norm. So I want to say that the majority of the youth in here are doing the right thing. But we are also hurting with the fact that our kids don't have jobs. Job is missing. Our kids don't have any hope of getting a job. The city or the state has really kind of said, we don't care about you guys, we don't have any experience or hope that you guys will ever get hired. They've kind of just been thrown away and said, we don't have any plan for you guys. And I think that we have to make sure that we give them some hope by creating some jobs. Now you could, so how do we do that with the economy the way it is? But we have to make an effort and show our kids that we're not abandoning them. We are not. Now we have also, and I hate, I don't want to throw it in, but we have a big armory center sitting there that could, if we work it up and fix it up, we could create a lot of jobs for our community. We need to move on things like that. We need to come up with programs in the DOE that would address these issues of gangs and all that, which are being cut back. Everybody pointed it out. All these services that were there are no longer there. So if we do that, these are some of the things that are going to happen.
Let me just mention two things, just for us to make note of. I mean, one thing we can absolutely do, as the council with support of the borough president, is fight to make sure that the summer, not the only jobs, but that the summer youth employment program stays funded. And last year, Walmart's not one of my favorite companies, I'll be honest, but I want to thank them, because last year they did give us $5 million to help with that program. So that is one area, and young people know about summer youth employment. So when it goes away, that's hurtful to them, so that's really important. Another thing we might wanna think about, and I don't know if this will work, you know what I mean, but we can give it a shot, is whether there are, you know, businesses that we could talk to about doing like some paid summer internships, like a special program over the next couple of summers until there are other opportunities just generally coming, you know, back for young people, and then put our heads together, see what other cities have done that maybe we could model. So I think you're absolutely right, and to start now looking for how we could have the most expansive program by the summer, we have enough time to do that.
And I would just add that if we could urge you or get your help, and we have an old library here on Kingsbridge. It's no longer the library. Got a new
What is it now?
It's the actually it's an abandoned, not abandoned building. It's an empty building.
And does the
but,
library still
we have a
open?
new library now, very nice new library.
Oh, that hub library.
Yes,
yeah.
and we would like to make, you know, District 7 would like to have a center for our youth and seniors that would address the question of job, prepare the people for technology for the future. And if definitely we're looking for elected officials to help us to open up that building, that will create a center for after school, the boys club, whatever could help us to do that would be great.
Do me a favor, sir, we're staying in touch with everybody, but make sure you give Pascal, who's right there, cause we're gonna want Jeff Rodas, who does all of our capital stuff, to talk to you particularly about that, cause he'll have, like off the top of his head, 15 questions or whatever, and info we'll need you to get, so we'll follow up on that one, as well as the other stuff. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Harold Maldonado. I'm the director of the Kips Bay Boys and Girls Club in the Bronx.
Thank you for coming.
And we have right now close to 10 facilities in the Bronx that we operate out of. We're on Randall and White Plains Road, which is our largest site that we've had. We've been there since '69. And then we are in public schools here in the Bronx. We are in the Castle Hill projects. We're in the Throsneck project. We're also in the Help Katona and Help Morris centers there and running a Boys and Girls Club. We're very, very happy to have come to this community. A year ago, we were at 1835 University, which is the old synagogue building that was there. It's a beautiful building, state-of-the-art building, and also want to thank Councilman Carrera and the borough president for constantly helping to support the youth in the community. But our job constantly is, and as you know, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, it's a large organization. We're a part of that, but we've been in the community in the Bronx for so many years, and we're very happy to be here. We serve youngsters between the ages of 6 to 18. We're building our membership right now. Right now, we're close to about 800 members there in the section of the Bronx. We're looking for more. We're looking for the community leaders. We want to go out there and advertise a little more. We want to come to the community and put on the stores of the flyers that Boys and Girls Clubs is in the neighborhood. We do develop leadership development programs, job development programs, phys ed activities. As you all know, our youngsters are either obese and they need some type of health and physical activities. But it's a safe place to go. We are the positive place for kids. Again, some people might look at the building, they walk by and they say, wow, does it cost $500 or $1,000 to be there? It says no, it's either $10 a year, and if they can't afford it, we find a way to get them in, but we never deny any youngsters to be members of the Boys and Girls Club. So we are here, and we're sad with what's happening in the community, but we need to get the kids off the streets, bring them to us.
What do you find, thank you very much, what do you find is some of the things that are most successful in getting kids off the street and bringing them and getting them involved in something, you know, more positive or more structured?
Also feeling good about themselves, and that's what kids want. You know, again, when you're in a gang, it's because they're making them feel good about being a part of something, okay? So we here at our club, we're gonna make you feel a part of something. We're going to build that self-esteem, whether it is learning how to shoot a billiard game or sitting down and learning and discussing and having rap sessions. And we do that. We're just not a building that just throws a basketball or just ping pong. We actually will sit with the youngsters. They'll talk to us. And in talking to us, they open up and you see that real child. Sometimes we don't even we invite the community and the parents to be there. Most of the time we don't want the parents there because we want to see the real child. And that's what's so important, and that's so nice of seeing actually the real child. So again, we're here to service the community, and whatever we can do to try to help, that's why we're here.
Thank you very much.
Can I say something, Angel? Would you please contact our office and give us your schedule and everything,
Sure.
everything that you want
No problem.
blasted, because we have a system to do that.
Will
And
do.
every agency, every community board, every school, hospital, everyone can get the information that you're trying to get out.
And
Great.
we're also working very closely, again, our 6 through 8-year-olds are our younger group, and that's the most that we get out of. But that middle grade, the
Yes.
most important, because they're coming already and they're asking for help. And if we don't know how to give them that help, helping them out, that's where they go directly to the gangs.